We are now in aspect 4 of Desjardins chapter 12 on international business ethics. Here we're going to discuss international trade and globalization, and we're going to discuss pros of international trade and globalization. The third issue with international business requires looking at it from a general economic and ethical standpoint, not only that of an individual firm doing business. Here, we tackle the issue of globalization. International trade and globalization is international trade to such a degree that countries are affected by what other countries are doing from across the world, and not only are affected by them, but are actually dependent on them. Of course, international trade has always taken place, but it really only truly becomes globalization when there is this tight interconnection and interdependence between very distant parts of the world. We will look at the pros of international trade and globalization. And second, we will look at the cons. The pros. The usual argument for trade is that products can be produced where it is least expensive to produce them, and that they can be shipped to where needed, and that the savings of producing where efficient are much greater than shipping costs. That way, anyone in the world can get anything they need at a lower price. And what do we mean by that? It is more efficient to produce in some places than in others. Uh, we may mean that their production is closer to the source where the raw materials needed are extracted. And it may mean that wages are less in that part of the world. So, one more time. The usual argument for trade is that products can be produced where it is least expensive to produce them, and that they can then be shipped to where they are needed, and that the savings of producing where efficient are much greater than the shipping costs. That way, anyone in the world can get anything they need at a lower price. As countries trade, they develop closer trade and cultural ties, and that seems to prevent war between countries, as trade is ultimately much more economically cost effective than is war and conquest. Trade is also a way for poorer countries to rise out of poverty. Businesses from abroad come and offer employment that was not available before they came. And so those are the pros of international trade and business. One, there is the general efficiency from production where production is less expensive. Two, between countries that exchange goods, usually there is no war as trade is very profitable. And three, international trade and business seem to be a way for countries to eliminate poverty in them, as employment is offered by firms that come and where that employment was not available before these international firms arrived. In the next aspect, we will look at the cons of globalization.